Maximum alert at Soldier Field. Do you know what's brewing behind the scenes? First, a Hall of Fame monster could arrive in Chicago to revolutionize the defense, but deeper-pocketed rivals want to steal him. Will Poles act before it's too late? Second, ESPN has just declassified a secret about our star linebacker. Why does the league value him more than we do? We reveal the uncomfortable truth that could change everything in the defensive scheme. And third, emergency on the offensive line. The injury no one wanted to talk about threatens to take down our franchise. Who will protect the QB's blind side? 3 candidates in a competition with more questions than answers. This is not a game, folks. Every decision in the next 72 hours could set the season's course. Are you going to miss the explosive details that only we have? Subscribe. Now, leave your like and rush to the comments before the rest of the NFC North beats us to it. Let's start with Von Miller, and I'm telling you this straight. Brian Baldinger is saying this 35-year-old might be the missing piece in our defense. Von Miller in Chicago? I think this could be just what we need. But first, let me put this in context because I want you to grasp the magnitude of what we're talking about. Von Miller isn't just any player. This man has 123.5 sacks in his career. He was Super Bowl 50 MVP. He has 8 Pro Bowls. Do you realize we're talking about a future Hall of Famer? Look, Baldinger says Miller is in great shape and likely to sign before training camp. Do you know what that means? A player who has been in 2 Super Bowls could be considering coming to Chicago. I ask you, how many times have we seen a player of this caliber considering the Bears as a destination? But here comes the interesting part, and I think this is crucial. Miller prefers to wait until after training camp to sign. Why? Because veterans his age don't want to go through the entire camp process. This is smart. And we've seen this with Yannick Ngakoue and Robert Quinn when Poles was general manager. Now, here's my deep analysis of why Miller would fit perfectly in Chicago. Matt Eberflus and the defensive staff know exactly how to use veterans. Remember what they did with DeMarcus Walker? They turned him into an effective player. Robert Quinn had a solid season before being traded. And let me tell you something about our current pass rush situation. Montez Sweat is our main man, no doubt, but we need more depth. Austin Booker showed flashes as a rookie but needs time to develop. Dominique Robinson has athletic potential but hasn't put it all together. Daniel Hardy and Daya Odeyingbo are projects. Do you know what Miller could provide these young guys? World-class mentorship. This man has played with Von Ware, been part of historic defenses. He can teach pass rush techniques these young players have never seen. But here's the real problem, and I think we need to talk about this honestly. The money. We have only $14.7 million available, while the Lions have $40.1 million, the Packers $35.5 million. We're competing with teams that have more cap space. But you know what? I believe Poles can work his magic with these numbers. Look at what he did with DJ Moore's contract. Look how he structured Caleb Williams' deal. This man knows how to handle cap space. And here's something that has me excited. Miller could sign a 1-year incentive-laden contract. This would be perfect for both parties. He can prove he still has something in the tank. We can see if he fits our culture. And if it works, we can give him a longer deal. Now, let me talk about the scheme because this is crucial. You no longer pressure like you did with Peyton Manning or Brett Favre. Now you need to be a cage runner to keep quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson inside the pocket. This is pure science. We face Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers. All these quarterbacks can get out of the pocket. That's why we need someone with the discipline and ability to control the pressure. Can Von Miller do this at 35? I believe so. Look at his 2024 numbers, 1.5 sacks in 12 games with Buffalo. You might say that's not impressive, but you know what? He was playing in a scheme that didn't maximize his strengths. In Chicago, with Eberflus, he could have more one-on-one opportunities. And here's my prediction. If Miller comes to Chicago, we could see 6 to 8 sacks easily. Why? Because Sweat will draw double coverage and Miller will have clean opportunities against tackles that can't handle him. But there's competition, and I think we need to recognize this. Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, Matthew Judon, Jada Vian, Clowney Carl Lawson. All available, but Miller has something the others don't: experience in big moments. Do you know how many playoff games Miller has played in? 17. How many have the Bears played since 2010? 4. This man can bring a winning mentality we haven't had in decades. And let me tell you something else. Chicago needs strong personalities. We need players who speak in the locker room. Miller is not just a player, he's a leader. He can be the veteran voice this defense needs. My conclusion on Miller: get in touch with him now. Don't wait. This kind of opportunity doesn't come often. Can it be a risk? Absolutely. But can it be exactly what we need to take this defense to the next level? I believe so. Now let's move on to Tummaine Edmonds. And this news has me thinking deeply. ESPN just ranked Edmonds as the 6th best off-the-ball linebacker in the entire NFL. Do you realize the magnitude of this? But first, let me put this in perspective, because I want you to understand exactly what this ranking means. Executives, coaches, and scouts from 32 teams voted. The highest vote put him in 3rd place. Do you know what this means? The league respects Edmonds more than we do. I'm telling you something many fans don't want to hear. Maybe we've been seeing Edmonds wrong since he arrived. We signed this man for 4 years, $72 million. It remains the 2nd largest investment in his position by total value and 3rd in average per year. But here's the debate, and I think it's legitimate. Since 2023, Edmonds has 223 combined tackles, while TJ Edwards has 284. Edwards also has 6.5 sacks and 20 tackles for loss in 2 seasons. The numbers favor Edwards. But you know what? Numbers don't always tell the whole story. An NFL personnel director says something important. He has the prototypical physique, athletic ability, and speed you coveted in an inside linebacker in today's game. He can diagnose playing downhill in the box, can play sideline to sideline, and has the coverage ability to match in zone or man coverage. Do you know what this tells me? Edmonds has tools Edwards doesn't. Between 2023-2024, Edmonds had 5 interceptions and 15 pass deflections. He's cutting off passing lanes with his physical size. Now, let me explain why I think we've been evaluating Edmonds incorrectly. Under Matt Eberflus, he was primarily a coverage linebacker. His job was to eliminate the middle of the field. And you know what? He did it effectively. Look at these numbers nobody talks about. In 2023, Edmonds allowed a passer rating of 82.4 when targeted in coverage. That's solid. In 2024, he improved to 79.1. He's shutting down the middle of the field. But here comes the exciting part. Dennis Allen plans to rotate Edmonds and Edwards in the Will and Mike positions. This will give Edmonds more opportunities to be a downhill impact player. Allen can exploit his size and speed in a way Eberflus never did. Do you know what this means tactically? Edmonds will have more chances to rush the passer. He'll be able to use his athleticism in passing down situations. He can be the blitzing linebacker who really impacts. And let me tell you something about Dennis Allen that has me excited. This man knows how to use linebackers. In New Orleans, he had Demario Davis making plays all over the field. He can do the same with Edmonds. Edmonds himself says, whatever position I'm in, my goal is to make plays. However that looks, I'm going to find a way in the system to obviously do my job and what the coach is asking me to do. But at the end of the day, I'm there to make plays, and that's what I plan to do. Do you hear that confidence? That's a man who knows he can do more, who is ready to show why ESPN rates him so highly. Now, let me compare him with other linebackers in the league because I want you to see where Edmonds truly stands. Fred Warner is number 1, deservedly. Roquan Smith is number 2, our ex-player we let go. Bobby Wagner, number 3. Micah Parsons, number 4. Darius Leonard, number 5. Edmonds is in elite company. But do you know what sets Edmonds apart from some of these others? His versatility. He can cover tight ends, cover running backs, drop back in zone coverage. He's genuinely a modern linebacker. And here's my deep analysis of why 2025 will be different. Allen will use packages where Edmonds and Edwards are on the field simultaneously. Imagine that. 2 linebackers who can do it all. In running down situations, Edmonds can be the Mike who reads and reacts. In passing downs, he can be the Will covering the slot or blitzing from the edge. This flexibility is what other teams don't have. Do you know what happens when you have a linebacker who can do it all? You confuse quarterbacks. They can't read if he's going to cover or blitz. Edmonds can be that X factor making our defense unpredictable. And let me talk about something. Nobody mentions mentality. Edmonds has been quiet, done his job, been professional. But I believe he's hungry to prove he's worth every penny of that contract. This is his make or break season, and I think that's going to bring out the best in him. Great players respond when they're against the wall, and Edmonds is against the wall. My prediction for Edmonds in 2025, 90 plus tackles, 3 plus sacks, 2 plus interceptions. Why? Because Dennis Allen will put him in a position to make plays Matt Eberflus never allowed. I believe we're going to see why ESPN ranks him as the 6th best linebacker in the NFL, and fans who've been criticizing him will eat their words. But now comes the news that really has me worried, and I'm telling you this with all seriousness. Braxton Jones has had a setback in his recovery and won't be ready for the start of training camp. Do you remember what Ben Johnson said in April? That Jones would begin training camp as a limited participant after his ankle surgery. Well, that has changed. Brad Biggs reports that Jones will likely start on the PUP list, physically unable to perform. I think this is a bigger problem than it seems. Jones missed the last 2 games of last season due to this ankle injury, and now he's still not ready. Biggs says he doesn't think he'll be on PUP for long, but any delay causes issues for the staff. But let me explain why this really has me worried. It's not just about Jones. It's about the whole protection for Caleb Williams. Do you know how many times Williams was hit as a rookie? Too many. And now his blindside protection is in question. Why? Because we have to decide who will be our starting left tackle. Jones, Kieran Amegadjie, or Ozzy Trapelo, who hasn't even signed his rookie contract yet. And it's hard for the staff to determine how to approach the position until Jones returns to practice. Biggs says something that worries me. And so, how do you structure what you have at left tackle? Like, is Ozzy in the mix with Braxton and Karen? For me, if you have a 3-man competition, it's probably tough to facilitate. I ask you this. How do you protect Caleb Williams if you don't know who's going to be your left tackle? Blindside protection is critical. Biggs is right. I think it's cleaner and easier to do if you have 2 guys rotating there. When camp starts, it's going to be 2-man work on a limited time. But I think this could be an opportunity for Amegadjie or Trapelo to show what they can do. Now, let me analyze each of these candidates because you need to know who could protect Williams. Braxton Jones, when healthy, he's been solid. In 2023, he allowed 6 sacks in 16 games. Not terrible for a left tackle. But can he stay healthy? That's a $64 million question. The ankle injury is worrying because tackles need mobility. They need to be able to kick slide, need to anchor. An ankle injury affects both things. And you know what else worries me? That this isn't just about 2025. That this injury might be something that bothers him all season. Ankles are tricky for linemen. Kieran Amegadjie, this young man has talent, was the 2nd-round pick in 2024, showed flashes in preseason. But is he ready to protect a franchise quarterback? That's a question that needs an answer. Amegadjie has good kick slide technique and natural length, but he needs to gain strength. NFL pass rushers are different. And those in college, he needs to prove he can handle Khalil Mack, Rashawn Gary, Aiden Hutchinson. Do you know what happens if Amegadjie isn't ready? Williams will be running for his life. And a quarterback running for his life can't develop timing with his receivers. Ozzy Trapelo, here's the problem, hasn't even signed his rookie contract. How's he going to compete for the job if he's not in the building? Trapelo has size and strength but needs time to adapt to the pro game. Was a 2nd-round pick for a reason. Has potential, but can he help immediately? That's doubtful. And do you know what's most frustrating? That Ryan Poles didn't have real competition in free agency. We could have signed a veteran as a backup. Plan. But we trusted Jones would be healthy. Now we're in a situation where we might have a rookie or 2nd-year player protecting our franchise quarterback. That gives me chills. Do you know what this means for Ben Johnson? That he has to adjust his offensive system. Might have to use more protection schemes, more chip blocks, more running backs in protection. This affects the whole offense. Less deep routes, less time for receivers to break open, fewer opportunities. For Williams to use his arm talent. And let me talk about the Bears' history with left tackles. We've had issues at that position for years. Since Olin Kreutz left, we've been searching for stability. German Bushra, disappointing. Charles Leno, inconsistent. Jason Peters, too old. Now Jones is injured. It feels like we're cursed in that position. But you know what? I think this could also be an opportunity. If Amigaji is ready, we could have our left tackle of the future. If Tropilo surprises, we could have a steal. But it has to happen now. We can't wait until week 1 to solve this. Williams needs to know who's going to protect him to build confidence. My prediction, Amigaji will win the job. Why? Because he has more experience in the system. Because he's had more time to build chemistry with Williams. And because the Bears will want to speed up his development. But will they have early problems? Absolutely. Any rookie left tackle will have growing pains. The question is whether they can minimize those issues. I believe Ben Johnson will have to be creative. More quick game, more screens, more ways for Williams to make plays without holding the ball too long. And let me tell you something else. This puts more pressure on the rest of the offensive line. Coleman Shelton needs to be solid at center. Tevin Jenkins has to dominate at left guard. The whole line needs to step up. Do you know what all this means? That we need to be ready for anything. This left tackle situation could define our season. Do you know what all this means? That Ryan Poles has critical decisions to make in multiple positions. Von Miller on defense, maximizing Edmonds, and solving Williams' protection. This is going to be a decisive season. Look at the complete situation. We have a historic opportunity to sign a Hall of Famer in Von Miller. We have a linebacker the entire league respects more than we do. And we have a potential crisis at the most crucial position on the offensive line. This is what defines successful organizations. How do they respond to adversity? How do they handle opportunities? Can they make the right decisions when it matters most? I believe the Bears are at a critical moment. The choices they make in the coming weeks will determine if 2025 is the year we finally make the leap or if we remain mediocre. But I have faith in Ryan Poles. I have faith in Matt Eberflus. And I have faith that this organization finally understands what it takes to win. Von Miller, sign him. Edmonds, use him correctly. Left tackle, solve that now. Bears fans, this is our chance. We can't waste it. Bears fans, these 3 news stories show us we are at a crucial moment. Do you think Von Miller will be the perfect addition to our defense? Is Edmonds finally ready to prove why ESPN ranks him so highly? And can Amigaji or Tropilo protect Caleb Williams if Jones isn't ready? I believe we need to unite like never before. This Bears fan community is a family, and we need to support each other as Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson build something special. If you like this exclusive content, give it a like and subscribe because we have more explosive news every week. Comment below which news impacted you the most, and don't forget to activate the bell so you don't miss anything. We're Bears, family, and together we're going to see this team shine in 2025. Bear down, Chicago.